How has collaboration empowered students, and how are you using movement to do so?
Good question. So I've been out of the classroom for a little bit, but I would say one of the biggest key things that I learned in education was experiential learning and the value of giving students the opportunity to collaborate and to create their own atmosphere in doing so. Which for a while I was that person that needed to control, right? It took me a minute to really understand I'm the problem, it's not my kids. I'm not understanding their needs. So I think giving them the freedom to move opens up their ability to collaborate in other instances where they might have been the quiet child in the room, or they may have not seemed open to a collaboration. When you allow that freedom of exchange or that freedom of experiential, or that, you know, you can go in the hallway, you can go out here, you can sit under your desk, kids start to open up and feel more safe and comfortable in their learning environment, so then they start to communicate more, they start to collaborate more and engage more.
You both answered this question in a way, but you had complete humility to mention your shortcomings in it. How do you spark somebody to take that leap? How do you spark somebody to use movement as a tool versus looking at it as a hindrance?
Somehow there has to be comfort. Like, you know that you can, and it's okay to just get up and walk around, or during circle time, being able to pace. So you have to be able to be comfortable with that. And that's something you can't really make happen. You have to be okay with it yourself too, and be comfortable yourself so that you can allow other people to be comfortable with their movement.
I think it's there's also a fear factor in there. So understanding like what's prohibiting that from happening. So the human action model, right? Is there any sense of unease in that current state? And how do you truly understand what that person is experiencing that's not allowing them to let go of that, or to be open to that movement piece? Because we're not all going to have the same aha moments. We're not all going to have the same experiences, but how do you truly get to know that person or build a relationship with them, or understand what's prohibiting them from seeing it or what's stopping them from doing it? It may be, I didn't meet the standardized test the year before. It may be incentives that are maybe misaligned with what they truly want to do, or are aligned, or how do you find that root cause to understand?
I get that, and when I sit back and I think about movement, you've expressed it in several different ways. We mentioned your son being able to walk, but then we also got these little interesting fun things like fidgets that allow us to take mental breaks. Are there any other strategies that you use, or how you deploy movement to enhance your ability to work or that you've seen students use within the classroom?
I got to tell you the story about a student that I had. So she immediately approached my podium type situation that I had as a teacher. And when we would start class, she would stand like at the podium every single day. Like, she would just stand there and want to be totally engaged in the conversation and whatever we were learning. And I honestly did not know how to handle it because I felt like she was a little bit in my space. It was like right up there. And I was like, okay. And I was like, so are you excited? This was debate. And I was like, are you really excited about debate? And she was like, yes, I am so excited about this. When do we start? You know, and how do you, like, you don't want to shut that down.
Right.
You don't want to say, hey, please don't stand this close. This is a little bit awkward. We've got to get through this slide that I'm trying to cover to just tell you what debate is. But you're not going to do that. You know, you're going to say, okay, cool. What do you know about debate? Like, what brought you here? Why are you so excited about this? And how do you like move into those moments or lean into them and say, what can this look like?
You both shared this idea of like serving and who I'm serving. And that seems a very altruistic viewpoint to really go back to say, I need to put my students' needs first. Is that something that was always a part of who you are, or how did you get to that point?
I think it evolves based on your passions and interests, probably. I mean, I shared I wasn't always that way, probably, right? So I think that's life experiences, that's taking the ability to grow in difficult situations. That's the instance with the podium where you could have just said you need to sit down. Like that maybe made you a little uncomfortable to lean in, but you did.
Yeah, yep.
Right? Like you chose to grow there. And I think that's, choosing that it's okay to have humility. It's choosing that it's okay to be different. Like I could not bring this because I think you all may judge me and I shouldn't have it. But I also know that if I don't, I'm not going to be as focused. And so I need to be open with myself and what makes me successful. But serving others, I think it's a journey. And I think it's when you're passionate about something that you love and you get to work on something that you love, then you're innately there to serve others, I think, as a teacher. When you go into that teaching profession, you generally go into it because you either have a passion for educating others, or you love to serve others, or you think children deserve something better, or you didn't have a great experience, or you had a great experience. There's something that pulls you to want to do that. And for me, it grew along the way as I learned.
There's something very real about that because teachers don't go into education to be rich. There's like
You don't say.
no, and I think there's something real about it. Like there's something fundamental about who a teacher is that says, I want to be a part of making this world a better place, whatever that might look like, and helping other people learn something that I found really valuable to me that I really think makes us who we are. And I really think it's I don't know, for me, with movement in particular too, it's empathy. I was the kid who could not sit still. I was the kid talking to my friends next to me the entire class, and I could not stay focused to save my life. And so that's the truth of it, How do you get that empathy and realize, oh man, I was just like them at this point in time, and how can I, instead of like reprimanding them, how can I help build mutual respect in our classroom?
You sound just like me. I don't think I had a great parent-teacher conference ever because Mick would never be quiet. But I like this idea of empathy. And I want to stay there because empathy is so important to who we are and how we operate. And it's a muscle that we must continue to flex. And so I would challenge our educators out there to think about empathy. Think about how to encourage movement. Think about how to deploy it to where it makes everyone in your classroom successful. And not every strategy with movement is going to work with every student. So one day it may be a fidget, and the next day it may be a walk. But do something, because that is human action, doing something. I'm Mick Love, and this is the Teacher's Lounge, and I thank y'all.
Thank you for having us.